Welcome to Crossbody of Work. My name is Evan.
I am
I
Javier.
feel like I came out with a lot of energy there to start this. I was like, ah!
Good. It's a good start.
It's a good start. It's a hot start. It's actually nice today in
It's real
Canada.
nice outside too.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a nice day outside. And it's a nice day to talk about the Iron Sheik.
Yes, sir. Sheiky.
If you didn't know, we had a little interview with Brad Backlund, who did a book called The Six Pack on the Open Road in Search of WrestleMania, which is partly inspired by his friendship with the Iron Sheik and talking about people who were on the card when Sheik won the WWF Championship at Madison Square Garden in 1983, a match that we will cover today. And go and listen to the interview if you haven't. It was a blast. Brad is a super knowledgeable guy, has really unique takes, really good perspective, and the book itself is outstanding. Go and buy the book wherever you buy books.
Buy the book, buy the book, buy the book.
The book was one of my favorite reads of the year, and I have started to read more this year. So I'm in like close to double digits in books. And yeah, I am on a mission to read more books this year. And this is one of my two favorite books this year. So
yeah, I'd be almost at double digits if you gave me like 2-sentence books.
Yeah, I've been reading a lot of like Dr. Seuss books, really trying to pump my numbers up.
Yeah, you're reading to your cat. I'm like 4 books in.
There you go. That's not good. I'm at 9.
I'm on my 4. Actually, no, we're counting Brad's book, so I'm on my 5th book technically.
There you go. Yeah. Sam, I am. All right. So let's talk about the Iron Sheik. What do you know of the Iron Sheik? A lot, because we read the book.
Yeah, a lot because we read the book. I'm not going to spoil that part though. I'll just say the basics of it. I mean, he's from Iran. He's an Olympic gold medalist in wrestling.
Olympic gold medalist in kayfabe.
In wrestling,
he's actually an amateur athletic union gold medalist from 1971.
He's actually the greatest pro wrestler, the greatest wrestler America. And if you say no, you jabroni and you stupid American.
He was born in 1942 in Iran, like you mentioned. Grew up in a working class family and then became a wrestler. There's also this weird thing that's on his Wikipedia, and it's in the book too, where he doesn't have there's 2 birthdays. His birthday is either March 15th, it's on his passport, or September 9th, which is because his family alternated between the Gregorian calendar and the solar Hijri calendar. So he's got 2 birthdays, which I find great.
I love this because I love things like that. It's like Mariah Carey. No one knows when Mariah Carey's birthday actually is.
It's whenever they unfreeze her when it's time for All I Want for Christmas Is You.
Oh my God.
He worked as a bodyguard. He made his name as a wrestler because there's a wrestler he idolized in Iran. Brad goes into this in detail in the book. It is really well written. And then he became an assistant coach to the USA team for the 72 Olympic Games after coming to America. He also came to America with no plan, just one name, and landed in Minnesota. And honestly, I love that for him. He's just like, I'm showing up, and I know this one guy in America.
I want to know how he found him.
They apparently it was through wrestling, through a wrestling competition. Like he knew his name and he just landed.
No. I want to know how he found him. Like when he got to Minnesota.
Oh, it says in the book he kept going to like different people at the airport, and somebody called him and was like, "There's a guy here for you."
Yes, excuse me. You know the so and so.
Yeah. Oh, I am not going to even touch a Sheik impression because I will not do it any justice. Javier can have that all to himself.
Well, thank you, Jabroni.
He got invited to become a professional wrestler by Vern Gagne, Khosrow Vaziri. So that is his real name, Khosrow Ali Vaziri. And he was in the same class as Ric Flair, which is very cool.
Oh.
Yeah, same class as Ricky Flair. Our first match sees him as Ali Vaziri. It is Championship Wrestling from Florida. It airs on Christmas Day, 1973, and it's Ali Vaziri versus Mark Stone. Now, I was really intrigued to get something from his pre-Sheik days, because obviously you and I have only ever seen him as the Iron Sheik. What did you think seeing him as like strapping young man Ali Vaziri?
You remember when Zion Williamson had his first Summer League game and it was like an event?
Yes.
This is kind of what it felt like, the way they were hyping this man up.
Yeah, like, Gordon Soley does an intro for the piece, does the commentary of the actual match, and does a little outro, and the whole time he's just talking about how good Ali Vaziri is.
Like, this is a blue chip prospect. This is the guy. This is gonna be. This is how I spoke about Victor Wembanyama 2 years ago.
Yes.
Like just this guy right here. He's so good. He's everything that's gonna be great about professional wrestling. Meanwhile, he's fighting a guy who looks like Super Mario.
I said he looks like prime Danny DeVito, like prime Danny DeVito, like Rhea
He
Perlman
looks
saw that across the bar and was like, "Yes."
he looks like an Italian version of George from
From George Costanza.
it was a Jason Alexander. Is that his real
Yes.
name?
Vaziri has thick black hair and some just this is again, it's 1973 camera quality. He is ripped, and you can see how ripped he is, even with like
Except right here.
what's wrong with the top of his head?
Right here, John Cena.
Not nearly as bad as Jonathan Cena.
Oh, it was bad, bro.
Not nearly as bad.
It was bad.
You respect the Sheik.
If
There's
Sheik
some arm
slicked his hair back,
drags.
you would know.
He gets leg control. Like it's a lot of just like legitimate grappling. Like that is how
Yeah.
the match plays out. Puts in what I call like a reverse cloverleaf, and I was like, that's sick.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool, and then it's kind of interesting because you can't really get out of that. Like you wriggle yourself
Yeah, what do
out,
you do?
and you're just in a clover leaf.
Yeah.
He does some arm drags, a wrist lock with like the Kimura position. Like,
Yeah.
he's got him back here. Ishiki does a cartwheel into a headlock.
I popped.
I love a good cartwheel.
He does the cartwheel and immediately locks in the headlock for the takedown. Does the bridging pin for a 2 count. I was like, this man is an athlete.
Yes. How good were you at cartwheels?
I was always better at somersaults than cartwheels.
Well, somersaults are easy, man. You just gotta.
Yeah, exactly why I was better at somersaults, dog. Like
You get on like this part of your head and just let your body go.
I would say I was okay at cartwheels. I was never somebody who would just bust them out for fun, but I could do one.
I always thought I wasn't good at them, and then one time I like did it in front of like we were just there was like a cartwheel competition at recess one day, and I did one, and everyone said I had the best cartwheel, and I was like, oh, let's go.
I always remember the day that like the kid, like there was like those playground tricks you could learn to like be cool. Like if a kid knew how to do a backflip, it was over. It was game over.
The first person to get to the top of the monkey was the monkey's gym.
Monkey bars or monkey gym? Yeah.
The monkey bars.
Yeah.
The ones where it like sticks out here, sticks out here,
Yeah.
sticks out here. Yeah, monkey bars. That was the kid who was coolest for the first year of school.
I still remember this kid. I think we were in grade 8, and he was like, "You want to learn see a trick I learned?" And he did the thing where you grab like the lamppost and you make yourself like horizontal or like parallel to the ground.
Yeah.
And we were all like, "What the fuck is that?" I'm pretty sure he got a girlfriend like that day. Like some girl was like, "Yo, he looks like a
This
flag, walking green flag." Like,
Yes.
I'm in.
Walking green. It's beautiful. And now they're married with children.
Nah, they're definitely not. Nice drop kick by Vaziri. A belly-to-belly suplex gets the 3 count. I really enjoyed this match. I thought it was really fun to see. If you're a big person for like the before they were stars type of angle, go and watch this match. Obviously, all the match links are in the podcast description or the YouTube description below.
This was one of the better belly-to-bellies I've seen from anyone ever.
It's a really good belly-to-belly.
Like normal belly-to-bellies, not like overhead belly-to-bellies.
It had snap. That's the
Yes.
thing. The big
Someone
thing
tell
about the
Bailey.
belly, yes. The big thing about the belly to belly is it has to have snap. It has to be a quick movement, and he nailed it.
I understand why the only real good Bailey to bellies she's ever hit were to Sasha Banks.
Because
It's
Sasha's a rag doll.
a very small human being, but just be better.
Be better. Apparently, a promoter came up with the Iron Sheik gimmick, shaved his head, grew out the fancy mustache, brought in the curled toe ring boots.
Love
which
it.
is great. He did a quick run in WWF in 1979, 1980. He had a title shot against Bob Backlund. And he got pinned in a 30-minute battle, apparently. Had some feuds with Jay Strongbow, had a feud with Bruno Sammartino, left and did Jim Crockett Promotions, where apparently I could not find any, but he had some really good matches with Ric Flair and Ricky Steamboat, which, again, 2 people that's easy to have great matches with.
Yeah.
So
It's like having a great match with Bryan Danielson.
Exactly.
Okay.
Mid-South Wrestling, back to Championship Wrestling from Florida, Georgia Championship Wrestling, before coming back to WWF. He came back and in '83 challenged Bob Backlund for the WWF World Heavyweight Championship. Backlund accepted, and on the Christmas Eve episode of All American Wrestling, he accepted Sheik's weekly Persian Club Challenge. Do you know what a Persian Club is?
No.
It's a type of exercise equipment that's essentially like a really heavy big paddle, essentially. And the
I thought
thing
this
is
was
to
gonna be a club, like
like a
just a
nightclub
nightclub that's like, okay.
or like a no girls allowed club. No, it's
No.
literally like a club. And to exercise, you swing it around. And so he would have a challenge where he would see if people could do more swings than him, and obviously nobody could. Or if they were going to, he would just beat them up. During this challenge, it looked like he was using his third attempt to swing the club, and he was successful. And she immediately attacked him from behind and injured his neck,
Amazing.
which sets up the match that is the impetus for Brad's book. It is the WWF Championship at Madison Square Garden, December 26th, 1983. Iron Sheik versus Bob Backlund.
This is some great sell work here from both guys,
From
but
both guys,
mostly Backlund.
but mainly Bob. Bob is really good.
Bob had me there like, oh, okay.
Sheik is managed by Ayatollah Blasi. So Fred
Love
Blasi
it.
is an Ayatollah here. Backlund is managed by Arnold Scotland.
I don't know who that is. Sheik attacks the shoulder before the bell even rings. He takes off his like garb, and then he just starts choking Backlund with it.
Yeah.
Then it's just a lot of work to the shoulder neck area, like the delts. A lot of work to the delts.
Yeah. A lot of delt work, neck work, delt work.
Neck work, delt work, shoulder
because
work.
because I need to put this out there for you. Scotland was a Marine in World War II, began wrestling in '46 under his real name. Was given the nickname Golden Boy, and was part of the WWF in '63, retired in '78, and managed people like Bob Backlund and Bruno Sammartino.
Good for him.
Both during their WWF World Championship runs. So a big name, a big deal.
Good for him.
Yeah.
So he cut the promos for the people who couldn't cut promos, but were for some reason the top guys.
Yeah, charisma vacuums.
Nice. Backlund hurts himself doing a hip toss, and that's when I was like, "We're cooking with hot fire here."
We really are. Sheik is smiling while driving Backlund into the canvas. It's perfect.
Yeah,
the
it's
second that you know who's an all-star in this match is Ayatollah Blasi. He's so good from ringside. The second that Bob Backlund's two shoulders are down, he's yelling at the ref to count. The second Sheik lets up at any point, he's telling him, focus on the neck, get his neck, grab his shoulder. Like he's on him. Legitimate managing is happening from Ayatollah Blasi. Arnold Scotland sitting there, quiet as a mouse, looking like Ferb. Meanwhile, Blasi is out there actually dictating things to his client. You love to see it.
Ferb.
He's Ferbin.
My favorite thing is we get an announcer jinx here.
Okay, yeah, talk about it.
They're like, oh, these two tremendous athletes, they could go all day, blah, blah, blah. They're in such great condition. Literally 5 to 7 seconds later, Sheik has like an arm wrench where he's like extending the arm back, pushing down on the shoulder.
Yeah.
Just pouring, literally leaking. As if I opened the cap of my water bottle and went like that and dumped water out. That's exactly what the Sheik was putting sweat down onto Backlund. It was hilarious. Backlund legitimately was just like kept having to go like that with his other arm because there was sweat just all over his face that wasn't his.
There's a surfboard. Backlund kind of powers out with some solid strikes. He does like the spin on Sheik's face, which is a very heel move. So I was very surprised to see Backlund pull it out.
Well,
Sheik with the
that's
press.
it's not the worst thing a babyface did to Sheik during this episode.
No, we'll talk about that. Sheik with a press to Baz. Backlund can't do the scoop slam. We go back to the surfboard. He's struggling to get out. They're rolling together. Backlund bridges out, which gets a huge reaction from the crowd.
Yes.
Which I thought was great because like nowadays, like that's an opening spot.
Yeah, pretty much. Backlund couldn't hit a suplex and then just accidentally hits a neck breaker.
Yeah, that was earlier. Yeah, he can't get the suplex, but he managed to get a neck breaker. I'm like, that's actually pretty good.
Backlund went for a press. Sheik falls on him.
Yep. Yeah.
Backlund
Then we get more
couldn't hit a
surfboard
backslide.
time. Yeah. Can't get the backslide in.
Couldn't even do that. Camel clutch.
What are your thoughts on the camel clutch?
I think it depends on the person that's putting it
Sheik,
on.
excellent.
My thing with the camel clutch is it needs to be someone who is very thick but not
Yes.
very tall.
So Sheik, Rusev,
Sheik, Rusev, Steiner.
Steiner. Yeah,
That's the
that's the
trio
trio.
that's perfect. Like
That's the
who is
three.
some honestly, Otis, I don't know how if Otis physically can, because I think he might be a little too thick.
Yeah,
I'm talking like physically, I don't know if he can actually make his body do that.
yeah. No, I know exactly what you mean.
But Otis is probably the perfect person to put on a camel clutch.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Just a
So
short guy who's very thick.
Sheik is on him with the camel clutch. It's locked in. And the towel comes in. Scotland throws in the towel for Backlund because, as we talked about, his neck had been hurt 2 days before. This whole match, Backlund's been selling like an absolute rock star. It makes sense when you see it. 11 minutes, 50 seconds. Sheik has won the world title.
Can we talk about the fact that the towel is like rolled up and like folded in a way? It's like a hotel when
Yeah,
they
it's like a
like leave the
swan.
towel on your bed. It's
It's
like, what the hell?
yeah,
They didn't take out the packaging?
it's from the local Marriott. Sheik wins, gets on the mic.
Electric promo.
Iran number one. Iran number one.
Iran number one. Iran number one. Iran number one.
A very exciting moment for Sheik. Obviously, like the crowning achievement of his career thus far. 83. He's the world champion. It's awesome.
Yes. It's
We're going to
great.
take a break. And when we get back with all heel transitional champions, someone has to end the reign. And this time, it's Hulk Hogan. Back from the break, the Iron Sheik would rematch Backlund indecisively at house shows, but primarily defended the title against Chief Jay Strongbow, who we saw last week in our episode on the Wild Samoans. Go and listen to that if you haven't already.
Good looking build.
Also, would defend against Pat Patterson, which I just think is a fun matchup.
I like that.
I like that too. On national TV, he essentially only defeated jobbers. The only other person he wrestled is somebody who's covered in the six-pack, Tito Santana, on a broadcast of from the Spectrum in Philadelphia on January 21st, 84. 2 days later, he would defend at Madison Square Garden against a blonde Adonis who'd come in from another territory, the AWA, Hulk Hogan, for the WWF World Heavyweight Championship.
But not a real American. I can't sing the song yet.
He comes out to Eye of the Tiger.
Which
I like it. I actually really like it.
But here's the thing. I like it. It doesn't suit him.
Why not?
Because
he doesn't look like an underdog?
He's significantly larger than Sheik.
Yeah.
But also like it'd be like giving an underdog, like the Rocky song, to Charlotte Flair.
Well, here's the thing: is at this time though, Hulk Hogan is not the world champion. Like he's not Hulk Hogan.
Fine, giving it to Jade Cargill, like.
But again, there was no hype machine, right? It's not the same.
Oh, there's a hype machine, brother. He comes out, that motherfucker's over.
However, like I understand the logic you're applying to this of like it's Hulk Hogan. There's no fucking way. Like
just
you can't
fucking look at him. He's not an underdog.
That's what I mean. The real thing is just the way he looks. The look is the thing that makes him not an underdog. And real American. It makes more like it's a really fitting theme for him. It's good.
Anyways, obligatory fuck Hulk Hogan.
Correct.
And the jabroni beaten man, the Iron Sheik, Iran number one, he agrees with us.
Hogan attacks Sheik from behind while his robe is still on.
A heel.
Such a heel move.
And that's not even the most heel thing he does.
What's the most heel thing he does?
He clotheslined him with the garb that Sheik has. He eye rakes him, does a standing choke.
Yep.
Like, what are we doing here?
We get a clothesline and a knee drop by Hogan, all Hogan early, and the crowd is losing their mind. He spits on the Iron Sheik.
Yeah.
Which is a heel move. It's been a minute of in-ring action. There have been 4 quintessential heel moves.
At least. Hulk Hogan was always a heel. We should not have been surprised when he turned at Bash at the Beach.
The Jack Perry of his time.
Truly.
1-2 kick out by Sheiky, baby. Love to see that.
Yes, sir.
Elbow drop by Hogan. Another 2 count. Um, Finally, Sheik gets a little bit of an opening. It's because Hogan is running, trying to get him in the corner, runs towards him. Sheik manages to dodge out of the way.
Yep. And then he just stomps him out. Hits a side breaker that they keep calling a backbreaker. It's 100% a side breaker.
It is. Yes. But I understand that, like, if you call it a backbreaker, because, like, obviously the camel clutch affects the back, so they're like, yeah, it's a backbreaker, and he's doing smart things.
The
Hogan
Sheik.
kicks out emphatically at 1.5.
Yep. Sheik just keeps stomping him.
Yeah.
Stomping the back. Boston Crab.
Good Boston Crab.
Good
All
looking move.
of Sheik's holds, because of his legitimate wrestling background, are all cinched in to exactly where they should be.
Because listen, that man is completely unserious on the mic, but he's very serious between them ropes.
He's very serious, and I just love that it's always to the exact right amount to feel right.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't look like overdone. It's always like, this is enough that you can, like, oh wow, this move hurts.
Yeah. Gut wrench suplex, which I love it. He puts
so
some
good.
snap. He has some snap on it because he's a shoot wrestler.
Yeah.
So he knows how to do it. And he's just got some snap on it, and it looks so good every single time. He gets a near fall on that. Then we get a camel clutch.
We sure do. What I noticed starting at the camel clutch is that Sheik has some of the best facial expressions during matches.
Yeah. Especially when he's on top.
When he's on top, it's indignant. He's so proud of himself, and he so much hates whoever he's going up against. His faces are the best. His faces when he's not on top are one of a man who is not used to not being on top. It's incredulous. It's the like, how is he hitting me like this?
How does he do that?
He's always very surprised. Locks in the camel clutch. Hogan is down. Hogan starts doing the thing. His arms are here because of the camel clutch, and he's wagging his finger. He's not hulking up the way that we know it now.
He's saying no. He's just going, no.
Yes.
No.
He climbs to his feet and runs Sheik into the turnbuckle. I would like to point out the crowd is one of the loudest crowds I've ever heard in a recording.
I like to think that the audio is just bad, and so it sounds louder than it really was.
I don't think so, brother. I think the crowd was...
I'm telling you it is, brother.
Well, I mean, if Hulk Hogan retold the story, he'd say there were 140,000 people there, and the Sheik weighed 500 pounds.
And 100,000 of the people there had to go get their throats checked out because they blew out their voice boxes from how loud they were screaming.
And then he told a little kid in the crowd that they should, eat their vitamins and say their prayers. And that little kid became Joe Biden.
Hogan hits a leg drop.
Hogan hits leg drop. 1, 2, 3. New world champion. Sheik has been world champion for a little under a month. That's how it was for heels. There was no Roman Reigns. No Roman Reigns, massive title reigns.
We need another broken leg.
No Triple H reigns of terror. It was if a heel got the title, it was because they were going to transition it onto a babyface. It's why Stan Stasiak was world champion. It's how Iron Sheik became world champion. It's just the way the title went.
The Miz.
The Miz. Except he main evented and won a WrestleMania.
No, the other one.
The other time. Yeah, the other time. But also a reminder that he main evented WrestleMania. The story that we hear in the book, in the 6-pack, go and check out the book, buy the book. It's wonderful. One of the stories they talk about is how Vern Gagne offered the Iron Sheik $100,000 to break Hulk Hogan's leg during this match, and how he didn't know what to do, and he discussed it with, I believe it was Sergeant Slaughter, and Slaughter was like, "You're going to make a lot more than $100,000 in the WWF." Like, it's true. Like, obviously, if you break Hogan's leg, like, it's over for you here. You'll never work in here. You might not work in the business again because you're unsafe.
You can work with Vern Gagne.
You can work with Vern Gagne exclusively. But Greg Gagne, Vern's son, has disputed that this thing actually happened. But it's in Brad's book. It's on the internet. Like, it's out there.
Yeah, I trust Sheiky.
I trust Sheik in saying that he was offered that money. I also think the right business decision to not do it.
Oh yeah. I mean, can you imagine history if the Hulk Hogan title win was like ruined? If he got Finn Balor?
Yeah. Except on purpose? That'd be incredible.
Oh my God.
What a time. So I didn't have a lot of dates on the promos this week, and obviously there's more than one promo. It's the Iron Sheik. We need to talk about all of them. So I just put them together and I said, hey, here's 3 promos. We're going to cover them. 3 different areas and different times of Sheik in WWF. They're all post world title win. So at this point, he's a world champion. They cannot take being a world champion away from him for the rest of his life. The first promo is called Zoom It, because he's this Sheik. And that's something he would say a lot, is he would tell everyone to zoom it, and that way they could get a better view of his muscles.
My cat's here.
Yes, Javier's cat is here. If you're watching on YouTube,
Oh,
youtube.com/@crossbodyofwork. But now the cat is gone.
I thought she wanted to sit on my lap, so I put my arm up, and then she just ran away. Anyways,
he's being interviewed by Mean Gene Okerlund.
Electric. Everything about this, electric. The way he says Miami.
Miami?
Miami. The people in Miami. Miami.
He also calls Mean Gene Mean, and I will not be calling Okerlund anything else.
He says Gene Mean is an intelligent American.
He said so. I will also put out there again. I'm not going to do the accent, but it is hard at times to understand Sheik as he gets going.
I understand him perfectly fine.
No, you don't. You don't. There are connector pieces. You know what he's talking about, but there's connector pieces that kind of get lost a little bit.
It's a lot of unintelligible stuff.
Yes. So he talks about how the toughest, roughest area in the world. Then Mike brings up how Italians, Iranians, and Jews from the LA airport to JFK airport all know who is the Iron Sheik.
No. Not LA airport. From the Memorial Coliseum in Los Angeles.
Yes. To JFK airport.
To John F. Kennedy Airport. They know about the Iron Sheik. Says that his opponent, I don't remember who the hell his opponent was. Better get ready.
How dare you? Because he calls him Corporal Kurushner, and Gene corrects him, says Corporal Krushner, and he goes, whatever. He can't
even know the goddamn name. He says, get ready, because the Sheik is born ready.
Second promo we have is Sheik, Ayatollah Blasi, and Tiger Chung Lee, who we also saw last week.
My guy.
The Wild Simone's episode. Blasi's here and immediately says a slur. Not going to repeat it. Says a slur. Did you not catch that?
No, I just remember him saying stuff about setting the stage for them.
Yeah, he does that after, but the first thing he says is he's talking about Mil Mascaras and calls him a slur, and then calls him a pencil neck. Then calls him a pencil neck geek, which is the thing everyone remembers about Blasi, and that's good. But yeah, I'm watching the thing, and I go on, and I just hear like, "Oh, okay." The
is
80s
it a
were
slur
a different
about
time.
Mexicans?
Yes.
Okay. I can narrow it down from there.
Sheik is here, and he also again talking about the LA Auditorium. I think the Sheik loved the LA Auditorium.
It's the Memorial Coliseum.
This time he said auditorium specifically.
Yeah, he probably messed it up then.
There was an Olympic auditorium that was from the Olympics for wrestling, and so he's talking about that specifically.
He shows off his medals and he says, I did not buy them.
He's got the medal.
He won them.
He has the one medal that we know he's won, and then he has other ones just like stuck on to his shirt.
My goat. He says he promises all Iranian people, all Muslim people, all Muslim American people that he's going to take out Sergeant Slaughter.
Yes, and then he says he lost something to Hulk Hogan. He's going to take it out on Slaughter. Iran number one. Bring you down, kick you just like I kicked the lazy camel. Are you going to do the thing he does after?
No, I don't know what he said after.
Oh, afterwards, that's the noise apparently that's made after you kick a lazy camel.
Yes, you got to kick the lazy camel.
I would not know. I have never been near a camel. I mean, I've been to the zoo.
I've never seen a camel in real life before.
Have you been to a zoo?
Yes, we do have a zoo here, but it's not very good.
Is there only one little dog? It's a shit zoo?
No, it's like a decent sized zoo.
Oh. Thank you for
How dare you talk shit about Shih Tzus? They're great.
Weird hill to die on. Zoos are great. They're
hypoallergenic.
I love
zoos. So many of those.
If you ever see me at a zoo, you can find me wherever the penguins are. I will be there.
Oh, I just go. Well, okay, that's different. Well, we have an aquarium. I've been to many aquariums, but that's different from a zoo.
I know that's different from a zoo, but there are lots of zoos that also have penguins within them.
Oh, ours does not.
Oh,
we have a lion. Saw a lion.
Lions are cool.
Oh, I have a childhood story. This is a
Oh,
ADHD break for the episode.
let's go.
Well, the last time, well, it's the last time I remember going to the zoo. My brother and I were in front of the glass at the in the lion thing, and the lion was just standing like 3 feet away from us on the
Okay.
glass, just like sat there, like you know how your cat probably does it. He just sits there, like paws, four paws down, sitting up, just looking at
Just
you.
staring. Yep.
Yeah, the lion was doing that to us, and then
Mm.
we were like taunting it because I was like 6, 7 years old, 8 years old, somewhere in that range. And
Yeah.
my brother was doing the same. My brother's like 5, 6 years older than me. So it's he's not very old either. And then the lion gets like walks over a little closer to us, right? And then he does the sit, and we're just like ha, 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 whatever. And then the lion just fucking paws the shit out of the glass. And I just look at my brother like my brother is terrified at this point,
Yeah.
absolutely fucking freaking out. And I'm just like, that was so cool.
Uh, the only story I can think of is we had an intern from the U.S. One summer when I was working for my college, and he'd come up for the summer. And on his Canadian bucket list, one of the things was to see polar bears. And we looked, and the closest place to see polar bears was 4 hours north of where we were.
Oh
There
my
was a
god.
polar bear conservatory, and so we got up. It was myself and two of my friends and our intern, and we drove 4 hours one way to go see polar bears. And we get there, and the guy's like, "You're just in time for feeding time." And I'm like, "Hell
Oh
yeah. I'm gonna
no.
see a polar bear like fuck up a deer or whatever's going on."
Fuck up a deer.
And they go, "No, we mimic their exact diet
Diet.
from the wild." And we're like, "Oh, so what does that mean?" He goes, "Well, today that means it's all fruits and veggies." And I'm like, "So I drove a combined 8 hours to see a polar bear eat the crunchiest yam you've ever heard in your
Hold
life."
on. Wait.
Like a shotgun going off, it sounded like when he did this.
I think that's actually cooler than seeing the deer being
The
eaten. I
cool
can't lie.
thing was they gave him a watermelon for dessert, and he just
Ooh.
immediately cracked that
All the
immediately.
flow.
Shout out to polar bears, cool ass animal. All right,
There's the thing. The funniest part about that is that you're close enough to be able to see a polar bear.
yeah, like it's just a quick little 4 hour drive. Go see polar bears to come back.
What?
Yeah, it
The
was
fuck?
it was wild. Also, I
Fucking
remember
Canada.
it was a Saturday, and for some reason, no restaurants were open in the town that was there, except for like us. Again, we're multiple hours north of Toronto. Like at this point, 8 hours north of Toronto. The only
Jesus.
thing open was a barbecue spot, and it
I
was
love it.
actually really good.
Yeah.
All right, number 3 promo here is Sheik getting asked questions by an audience from a TNT studio show hosted by Vince McMahon.
The first guy says, if Iran is number one, why does you spend so much time in the USA?
I love Sheik's answer here. He's like, "I'm an international sportsman. It's not just USA. I'm in Iran. I'm in America. I'm in Japan. I'm in Germany. It's because I'm number one." And I was like, that's the exact right answer. That's a good answer.
It's something about if the
Does
Ayatollah
the
wants him to
Ayatollah want you
become
to be champion
champion.
again? Yeah.
It's like the Ayatollah is already happy he became champion. All this other stuff, blah blah blah.
I think the next question and his response is the best one of the whole thing. Why do
Yeah.
you seem to be ducking the big names of wrestling these days? Immediately up out of his chair, shirt off, flexing. Do you want to tell me I'm not one of the top names in wrestling these days?
You're telling me I'm not one of the top wrestler in the ring these days?
He's doing the flex where you can see the
Just
weird back muscles
massive.
popping out.
Your
Just
lat.
yeah, those. He's just popping out. Bah, bah.
Pap, pap. He challenges the dude to go to the ring one of the shows, and I was like, I don't want to do that with him.
Somebody asked if he was deported from Iran, and he's like, "I've heard you were deported from Iran. Is that true?" And he's like, "No, Blassie brought me over." Meanwhile, as we learn in the book, he genuinely he never went back to Iran, which is really sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Um,
there's so many just like they're not all heartbreaking, but like it tells a really there's a lot of pain in the Iron Sheik story, and it's really sad.
yeah. I mean, I'm happy that he was able to, get all his stuff together. He had a beautiful family. Loved
Yeah,
them
by
to the
all
very
accounts,
end.
his family was and still is incredible people.
Yeah. It's he also says that he enjoys beating Americans and spitting on them like a camel.
Well, who doesn't enjoy that? That sounds like
And
a
then
good time.
it cuts to just Vince at the desk asking him questions, and he says, "Iran music, Iran has better music, and stupid Americans." And he just starts talking about stupid Americans. He says, Intelligent Americans respect the Iron Sheik from John F. Kennedy Airport to Memorial Coliseum in Los Angeles."
He loves to do the New York to LA, but he's like, I remember two buildings. he's like, there are two buildings that I have been to. And in this direct line between JFK Airport and the Memorial Auditorium or the Coliseum in LA, I am loved within that. Florida,
Yeah.
complete no-go zone. Who cares?
Boston apparently hates him.
Yeah, Maine, forget about it.
Oh, he in Maine faux show.
I loved watching these Sheik promos. If you're gonna go watch something and if you for some reason have never legitimately seen the Iron Sheik and you had to pick one of these three promos for someone to go watch, which of the three promos is it?
Ooh, that's difficult. I mean, it's got to be the Q&A, because
The
you
Q&A
get
will
to
give
see a
you a
funny part about it.
yes,
But
and
I
it gives
do
you a
think that
better background on him.
I think that the first one is probably better.
Is my favorite promo. It's also the one he cuts the most because the other one he's kind of with Blassie, and I do love his interaction with Mean Gene. So, yeah, we are going to take another break. When we get back, we have one of the highest rated Iron Sheik matches ever.
Oh,
Yeah, so we'll get to that in just a second. Back from the break, it is time for the Iron Sheik versus Sergeant Slaughter in a match that was rated 4.5 stars by Big Daddy Dave.
good for Big Dave.
Is this your recommendation this week?
This is my recommendation for the
Mine
week.
as well. Obviously, you should go watch him win the title because of the selling by Backlund, the big moment. But if you want a match, this is a really, really, really well
hell of a
constructed match. The beats
especially
are
for
really
the time
good.
period.
Yeah. So
What is this, 85?
It is June 16th, 1984, and it is Sergeant Slaughter versus the Iron Sheik in a boot camp match, which is no holds barred, false count anywhere. The ref stays outside the ring when they're in the ring, which I think is a weird and interesting wrinkle.
Yeah, because the ref just slides into the ring to make the falls.
He just pops in.
So we're losing time. We're losing recipes.
I am so glad you said that. It's my favorite clip. I will watch the Michael Irvin "We're Losing Recipes" clip every time it comes on my For You page. The young ladies they're not learning from mom how to cook. We're losing recipes. We are losing recipes.
That's the problem. The young ladies of today, they're not learning from mom how to cook. I just love the tone is so robotic, but yet in different ways.
Yeah.
Like, that's the problem with today. The young ladies of today, they not learning how to cook. Or they not learning from mom how to cook. We're losing recipes.
I love Michael Irvin so much. This match is excellent. Slaughter comes out with his helmet on, and headwear is a big part of the beginning of this match because he does something very disrespectful. He takes the headpiece of the Sheik and rips it into pieces and tosses it into the crowd.
It's no bueno.
It's real, like, again, heel moves being done against the Iron Sheik. Iron Sheik was a babyface. I understand why Brad's favorite wrestler was the Iron Sheik, because if you have empathy for people, you might be watching this and being like, Iron Sheik deserves like more respect.
I get it. I mean, he hits a body slam. He tosses Sheiky to the outside, and then he just starts beating him ringside. He hits a side breaker out there.
Yeah,
it's tough, man.
I think my favorite thing about this is obviously it's like the big overhead camera that they use for a lot of these older shots. And at first I'm like, oh, anytime they're on the outside, we're not going to see it properly because they might only just have this one camera. And then at the very end of the time they're outside, they switch to a camera that was watching them the whole time. I was like, who is asleep at the wheel in the control room? They have a clear shot.
When did Beaver Boy
It's
take
not
over?
Kevin Dunn. It's not Kevin Dunn. That was
when did he take over?
That's a good question. When did Kevin Dunn take over?
Beaver Boy screwing everything up. I'm blaming him for this too. I just am.
As you should.
And I don't care. Sheik does eventually get the advantage here. He does an eye gouge. But that doesn't really last him for very long. Because he lays the boots onto Slaughter. He gets him into the corner, and then Slaughter grabs him and hits a stun gun. They're like, he clotheslined him on the rope.
Kevin Dunn was a associate producer for WWE starting in 1984. So this could have been Kevin Dunn. But he loves camera cuts. We know this. We know this. Why are you close to the camera like that guy who filmed Rollins in the crowd? You don't need to film wrestlers from that close. Nobody needs to be that close to a wrestler. Ever. Ever.
Unless they come to you.
But still.
Like Becky Lynch on Monday, if you were the dude in the row in front of her and she was just standing there and you were like
yeah,
that's fine.
Because you were going to take a shot no matter
do.
what. Yeah, exactly. You can't can you back up a little bit?
Yeah.
Back into the ring. Your
phone, I guess.
We get a stun gun by Slaughter. Slaughter then biting the ear of Iron Sheik, and somewhere an 18-year-old Mike Tyson is like, I got myself an idea. I think that's a wonderful idea by Mr. Slaughter.
He's gonna murder Jake Paul.
I hope and I pray.
Absolutely murder. I just want to see Jake Paul get knocked the fuck out.
I love that Jake Paul is just like he's padding his record with just shit fights. We know this.
Well, he's lost already.
He's lost already, which is great. But like every other fight has just been a shit fight. It's just like whatever. And then he's like, you know what I could do? I could take Mike Tyson. Like, you know that delusional friend you have? Everyone has one completely delulu friend.
Isn't Tyson like 56 or something like that?
I do not care. He's Mike Tyson. He's the baddest man on the planet. Till he leaves this planet, he is the baddest man on it. I don't care.
That's like saying, I don't know, that's like me being like, oh, Emmitt Smith, I'd be worried about him running up at me. Like, I'm fine. He's 50s, whatever.
You're right. Speed goes after a while, too.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson has something within him that I don't think ever goes away.
An internal rage.
Well,
it went away for a while there when he went to prison. Anyways.
A big thing in this match is the fact that both men apparently have steel toes in their boots.
Well, yeah, because Slaughter has steel-toed boots.
But then apparently Iron Sheik's boots are also steel-toed, even though they still are like the curly-toe boots.
But that's the steel.
That's just a big steel bar.
Yeah. Sheik starts biting the forehead, which I love.
And Slaughter is bloody.
Yes. Slaughter does like a self-defense boot to the gut, like in the corner. He's like in the corner, cowering while laying down. And, you know, if someone's like that, you start kicking at him to sort of get him to go back. He ends up catching Sheik with one of those boots, and Sheik just goes and then just crumbles.
He sells it like Tony Khan sold getting hit by Jack Perry.
With the delay and everything, too.
And that's after Sheik spits on him repeatedly.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad sell by Tony Khan. He's just mimicking the Iron Sheik in this match.
He's just like the Iron Sheik for real. Yeah. We get a suplex by Sheik. Slaughter runs Sheik into the turnbuckle. Sheik now also bleeding.
Yes.
We get the comical, cartoon, big wind-up right by Slaughter, which actually I thought was funny and kind of worked here.
I love it. I was invested in this match. I really was.
Sheik, again, we talked about the selling a little bit in terms of like Backlund, whatever. Sheik is selling like gold here. Slaughter sells like 05 SummerSlam Shawn Michaels. At times, it's a little much.
Really? I mean, he doesn't throw his entire career.
Yeah.
Slaughter, he drives Slaughter into the corner for a near fall. Sheik gets a low blow.
Yeah.
He takes out a ref.
He just headbutts the ref.
He then takes off his shoe and apparently he loads it up more. I don't know what that does. That
I don't know how it could
I don't know how
sack
he could of quarters down there or something.
I think it just was there was metal in the boot, and they were like, "Oh, he's gonna hit him." Like, obviously, they're like he can do more damage with it in his hand than on his foot.
Slaughter clotheslines him out of desperation. He picks up the boot. He smashes Sheik across the head with it.
Yep.
1, 2, 3. Sergeant Slaughter wins the match, and he doesn't have to not wrestle in Washington D.C. anymore.
What a nice thing to have happen. After this, there was a couple other things, like a couple other kind of gimmicks he would have, or feuds he would have. But then he started teaming with Nikolai Volkov. And at the first ever WrestleMania, Sheik and Volkov would challenge the U.S. Express, the brand new WWE Hall of Fame U.S. Express of Rotunda and Wyndham. And they would challenge for the WWF Tag Championships at WrestleMania 1, the first ever WrestleMania. What did you think of this match?
It was all right.
It's fine.
My issue with it, honestly, was actually the US Express guys. I
Really?
I thought they were so kind of bland and one dimensional with their offense.
I will say they respect tag psychology. They do a really
It's
good
too
job.
much punching.
It's a lot of punches, but they do a really good job in terms of the like cutting the ring in half, the quick tags, like a lot of the things that you would look for in like, do they have the tag team things? They have those. And both guys would do better things in their
Yeah.
career than you
I
than
mean,
like than this
WrestleMania
match.
2, they arguably had the best match.
Yeah. And like obviously like IRS is great. And
Yeah.
Barry Windham is a star. And
And
like we knew
sexy as
and
hell.
sexy as hell according to my Twitter header. But um I can understand where you're coming from in terms of thinking that like that's the problem. Volkov and Sheik here are both pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought Sheik was great. I thought Volkov was really good. Um
We get
Russia number 1. Iran number 1. USA.
we get the rise and respect the singing of the Soviet national anthem. We get boos, glorious boos, because the Americans hear a song that isn't their song. Meanwhile, US Express come out with Captain Lou Albano. They're come out to Born in the USA. That's the way to do it, baby.
USA.
I will say Barry Windham looks fucking great here.
Yes. Sexy Barry looks great at all times, man.
Looking just like bring out the Booker T. Look a real Jack, baby.
Like a red jack baby. Rotunda and Sheik start with the standard sequence, jump, leap over, all
Yeah.
that jazz, hip toss,
Drop
blah,
kick.
blah, blah. Barry tags in and he hits a flying punch, which is a little thing that
It's gonna happen a lot.
they do a lot.
It's gonna happen a lot.
Sheik at one point accidentally hits Volkov. So Volkov's holding, I believe it's Rotunda in the
It's
corner.
Wyndham.
Oh, it's Wyndham. He's holding
Yeah.
Wyndham in the corner. And then Sheik comes through and wants to go for a drop kick, but Barry gets out of the way and Sheik accidentally drop kicks Volkov.
And
then
Sheik apologizes profusely.
yes, he's like, "Oh my god." Well,
He's
I
like-
wouldn't want to piss off Nikolai Volkov
He's
either.
like, no turn here. We are a tag team. I am very sorry, bro.
You and me, number 1. You intelligent Russian man.
Wyndham with an axe handle at top rope, pretend tags in, hits one as well. It's a lot of flying punches. It's a lot of arm ringers and flying punches. That is a lot of it. Sheik gets a boot up. Rotunda's run into it by Volkov. Rotunda with a suplex on Sheik, who has to tag in Volkov. Then we get the sexy Barry Windham hot tag rated.
Like a 6.5.
It's because the only thing he does are right hands and one drop kick.
But it's fun. It's a fun
The
right-hand
energy
drop kick
behind it
combo.
is really good.
It also gets up a little bit because I like Barry Windham.
Yeah, I just like Barry Windham. I appreciate what he does.
Gut wrench for near fall.
Yep.
Sheik puts on an abdominal stretch. There's a lot of drop kicks.
Yep.
That sequence here. Barry just starts unleashing hands on Volkov. Just
Yes.
absolutely unleashing hands. Volkov's in the ring with Barry. Mike Rotunda has the ref distracted. Sheik is outside the ring. He grabs a cane from somewhere, absolutely nails Barry Windham in the back with the cane.
Yep.
Mike Rotunda can't really do anything about it because the ref is distracted from it. The ref turns around. Volkov pins Barry Windham 1, 2, 3. The Iran Russian Express wins the belt.
The Iran Russian Express.
Sorry, the Russia Iran Express wins the belt.
I love that as a name. I think that is a great name.
Shout out to Irussi.
To what? Sorry?
Irussi.
What is that? Oh, is that what you've decided to call it?
Yes, I've combined the names.
Okay.
Irussi.
Irussi. I like it. The Iron Sheik Irussi would lose the titles to the US Express. They would lose them 78 days later at a championship wrestling taping in Poughkeepsie, New York.
Poughkeepsie.
In Poughkeepsie. After this, Iron Sheik had a very memorable moment outside of the wrestling ring where he was arrested while feuding with Jim Duggan. Read more about it in Brad's book. They were both fired because they were riding together. There were some drugs. They were both. They were a feud. They were a babyface and heel. Shouldn't ride together on the road. Kayfabe was broken, so they both got fired. He would be brought back 3 different times. Once as Colonel Mustafa as part of the Slaughter Iraqi sympathizer feud. That
Yes.
was weird.
Nah, I liked it.
You liked it?
Shout out to Colonel Mustafa and General Adnan.
Just be Iron Sheik. People don't forget. He
No,
had a run in NWA, WCW, another one AWA. Would actually come back. I forgot about this. He would come back to manage the Sultan.
I did not remember that.
I had not a clue, but
Sultan was that
Rikishi.
was Rikishi,
That
yeah.
was Rikishi in the mask. So it was him and Bob Backlund. They were managing the Sultan, which is what a
Okay,
pair to
interesting.
manage.
Well, you know
Um,
why I remember.
yes,
What I remember coming out after this certain event in 2001, baby.
I rewatched the gimmick battle royal at WrestleMania X7 that the Iron Sheik wins. I considered making it one of the matches. I
Oh, you
considered
should
doing that.
have. You should have.
I decided to go back and watch it
Keep it to
myself.
his prime. Damn.
It's so fun.
I love
It's
it. I
such a
love
good
the gimmick
time.
battle royal. It's so good.
We get the Bushwhackers, One Man Gang, Michael Hayes, Doink the Clown, Volkov, Tugboat, Goon, Gobbledygooker, Repo Man, Slaughter, Kimchi, and in all of that, the Iron Sheik wins.
Yes, as he should. Iran number 1.
Iron Sheik with some big dubs. You love to see it. He would be inducted into the WWF Hall of Fame in 2005. Normally, this is the part where we talk about like what happened in his personal life as well. The best thing to do is go read Brad's book, The Six
Yes.
Pack on the Open Road in Search of WrestleMania. There's you learn a lot about how the Iron Sheik's life went post wrestling. You can learn a little bit about it, like it from articles that have happened online. But Brad was there.
Yeah. Brad was there in the front lines. He had a personal relationship with the Sheik, which is awesome because it was his childhood hero.
Yes.
So, it'd be like me having a relationship with John Cena, which fingers crossed that happens one day.
I hope it goes differently than the beginnings of
significantly.
Brad's with Iron Sheik.
Yes.
Obviously, we all know we lost Iron Sheik June 7th, 2023. His the way that people were upset in the wrestling world because he had gotten some fame with younger fans because he had appeared on, like, I think it was the Opie and Anthony show. He showed up on a couple of times.
Maybe. I mean, it wouldn't shock me. It was I think Opie and Anthony, yeah.
Yeah, and he obviously, like, his Twitter account, which we learn is not written by him.
I refuse to believe that, by the way.
It's like Santa Claus. And like that, it made him really popular because he would like say fuck, Hulk Hogan, and he would call people
Fuck Hulk
jabronis.
Hogan.
It was a great thing. What do you think now, going back and watching the actual wrestling career of the Iron Sheik?
I mean, I always had a super high opinion of Sheik. The guy's good, man. He's really good.
He's got it.
It's like
Character and wrestling, he's got it.
It's the way like Kurt Angle took to wrestling like a duck to water, right? I think Iron Sheik was very much the same way. Like the guy was just in a different era. He very much molded himself in the style of the era. But as far as like the technical holds, like there aren't many people that are better than him at that. As far as like, getting like the crowd to hate you, there aren't many people better at him at that. Same thing with like just the selling. Honestly, I think that's what really shocks me most of anything here is a guy who comes from a shoot background being so good at selling, like so good, and he does very good over the top selling, which is hard to do without pushing. Like he goes right up to the line of overselling, but he doesn't cross it, which I think is great. But just overall, like I can't say enough good things about him, and it was a pleasure going back and seeing his prime here, or his noteworthy years here of his career. But at the same time, god damn it, I loved him in the Give It Battle Royal.
It's a great gimmick. His last match, you will not guess the names that are involved in this last match.
Was it not the gimmick battle royal?
April 24th, 2010, the Iron Sheik had his last match in the Millennium Wrestling Federation, teaming with Jay Lethal in a handicap match to defeat someone named Dylan Cage, who was accompanied to the ring by Paul Bearer.
What the hell?
Iron Sheik made Cage tap out to a camel clutch on the floor in his retirement match.
This is incredible.
What a fucking booking.
Iran number 1. Iron Sheik number 1.
Jay Lethal, also number 1. We cannot recommend Brad's book more than we already have.
I cannot. I know I'm about to do life advice, but my life advice is also buy that book. It is incredible. And also he let us know after we were finished recording, for any of you people here, beautiful people here that live in the Boston area or
Yes.
the greater Massachusetts area, I guess as a whole, or the Northeast if you're willing to drive a little bit. He is going to have a book signing on May 1st at Brookline Booksmith, which is my local bookstore. I love that place very much. Go. I mean, if not, just to go to his book signing, go to the bookstore. It's great. Support your local bookstores. They're very important.
Support your local bookstores is a very good message. I like that message. That's a good message. All right. Next week, we're going to announce that in a second. First, I'm going to go through all the housekeeping things. You should follow us on social media, on Twitter and Instagram, at Crossbody of Work. You should follow Javier wherever he tells you right now.
On the Twitter machine, at JMello Sports. Lob the boy, follow.
Follow me as well, at It7Gomes, ITSEVANGOMES. Hey, follow us on Threads at Crossbody
We're
of
on
Work.
Threads?
We're still on Threads. I posted.
I don't have Threads.
I posted there today because I was like, you know what? We haven't posted on Threads in forever. So follow us on Threads. Why not? Make sure you share the podcast with your friends. Talk about the Iron Sheik. What a wonderful time. Like the podcast, subscribe to the podcast, rate it 5 stars. It helps us out so we continue to grow. Go and subscribe to us on YouTube. We're on the road to 300 subscribers. We would love for you to be one of them. We have all of our podcast episodes as well as bonus things and bonus events that we do. We do drafts, we do rebookings, we do lots of cool stuff. So go and check us out on YouTube at Crossbody of Work. The merch link is available. It is in the bio. It is in the show notes. Javier's got the cool sweater on. I've got the chapeau on my head. Javier's got the chapeau in his hands right there. Go buy yourself a nice hat for the summer. Cool for the summer. Next week, we look at somebody who was known as an in-ring technician far beyond his time and his era, and he was a body donner. We are looking at the career of Chris Candido.
Yes, I'm excited because I've probably never seen a Chris Candido match before. So,
which blows my mind. Like it wouldn't just have come across it at some point. Chris Candido, obviously somebody we lost too early, a very tragic story in wrestling. We're going to look at his Smoky Mountain Wrestling times. We'll look at his ECW times. We'll look at his time in WWF as Skip with Sonny.
To Malou.
Skip to Malou. Yes, Rafer Alston is going to be on the podcast.
Rafer Alston's going to be on the podcast next week, everybody.
Next week, we're looking at the career of Chris Candido. It's going to be a great time. All right, you've heard all the things. We are at the end of the episode, which means it's time for everyone's favorite part. Javier, any final words for the people?
This week on Life Advice with Javier, the kid is going to be either very happy or very upset because I am either going to have J.J. McCarthy on my roster or I'm not. And as a Minnesota Vikings fan, it's a very tense time. But also, I will be going on vacation soon. And because of that, I want to remind everyone, and also myself, know where your passport is. Find your passport. Keep it in a safe place. Do not stress out. Make sure when you leave your apartment / wherever you're going to the airport from that you have your passport. It is very important that you have your passport at all times. Have your passport. Protect your passport. It is more important than anything else when you are out of the country.
Yes.
Protect passport. Passport.
The recommendations this week are know where your fucking passport is and support your local bookstore. These are 2 messages I can fully get behind. Thank you so much for joining us this week as we talked about the legendary career of the Iron Sheik. We will be back soon to talk about Chris Candido. We'll talk to you then.
Sheiky.